Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to Cosmic Consciousness with Kassia. On this channel, we discuss all aspects of the ascension process. And today we're going to be talking about the 9/9 portal. This portal is occurring on and around September 9th, 2022, and occurs every single year when we experience the 9th day of the 9th month of the year. Those of you who are finding this video in a search are well aware of the energies of the portals. Everyone who follows this channel regularly is aware of these energies as well. We have a portal every single month when we have the day of the year, or the day of the month rather, that corresponds to the number of the month. These are just gateways of energies. These are times when the veil is a little bit thinner, when we're able to connect interdimensionally a bit more easily, connect with our angels, our guides. We're receiving really powerful upgrades and downloads during these times. As we know right now, we're always experiencing upgrades and downloads and such. So this is just a day where that energy is a little bit more concentrated. And it does seem to set a theme for the month ahead. Those of you who follow my channel regularly may have already seen some videos where we're talking about these September energies and these energies that we're going to be experiencing with the Mercury retrograde this month, with Virgo season, with that Virgo new moon, which happened on the 27th of August. It's all related. This 9/9 portal actually begins or reaches the peak of its energy on the day that Mercury goes retrograde. So this is extremely powerful when it comes to these energies and the energies of relationship in general. So we're really working with that relationship energy. We're working with that relationship to ourselves. We talked a lot in that Virgo new moon video about the energy of self-talk and how that's really going to be highlighted and how powerfully we are manifesting through our self-talk. Now and always, but especially when we're around these portal dates, the energy, it's like a vortex of energy. And so our manifestations are that much more powerful. And we really want to be aware of the words that we're speaking and of the things that we're thinking. Because remember, thoughts are simply words that have not yet been spoken. But the universe hears us loud and clear, even when we don't speak it out loud. So we are always in a conversation with spirit. We're always in a conversation with our own bodies, our own hearts, our own energy fields. And the majority of that conversation goes on in our heads. And so we really want to be aware of what that conversation looks like. This portal is really emphasizing those energies and how that is reflected in our relationships, as well as our relationship to self-care and the ways that we're able to honor not only our body and our spirit, but our physical vessels as well. The 9/9 always feels to me as though it is a portal of purification. So we're being purified, we're being cleansed as we then move through to the 10/10 and the energies through the 12/12 portal. It's sort of a time period where we're being washed clean of all the residual energy, everything that's been coming up, everything that we've been purging as we've moved through the Lion's Gate, the Syrian Gateway, all of this. And now we're getting that moment of recalibration, this moment of renewal. So really allow that. With this renewal also comes an energy of closures. The number 9 represents the closing of cycles. And so there are major cycles being completed so that new cycles can open. And a lot of this is going to center around our interpersonal relationships, as well as our relationship to ourselves. And like we talked about, the way that we nurture that relationship through our self-talk and through the actions that we take to care for ourselves. This portal, I'm really feeling salt baths are going to be helpful for people. So take a salt bath if you can, any natural salts. I like pink Himalayan salt and sea salt, a little bit of Epsom salt to really get in there and help remove those toxins, a little bit of baking soda. Some people add a splash of hydrogen peroxide. Really great cleansing and detox bath. Let's see what else with this portal. It is, what I was shown was that with this portal, the power is in the gratitude. And so we want to really focus on the things that we're grateful for, really connect in emotionally and energetically with that sense of gratitude, and then watch as that creates powerful energy to really fuel our manifestations. It's like it starts as a little seed, and Spirit showed me that during this 9/9 portal, that seed can sprout and grow very, very quickly. It's almost like a time lapse. It's like time lapse photography or something, or videography. But all of that is happening much, much more quickly than we would in our linear thinking. Imagine it happening. So big, big things can happen. But they start not by focusing on what we want to create in the future, but by really focusing in on what it is that we have right now that we are grateful for. Really tapping into that and cultivating that attitude of gratitude, and knowing and understanding and living gratitude as an action word. That's going to be incredibly powerful energy to utilize during this portal. Spirit doesn't want our head off in the clouds, thinking about the future. Yes, we do manifest with some thoughts of the future, but Spirit wants us to bring it all into the present. So even when you're working with your manifestations, work with them in the present moment. As though, we always say this in manifestation, but it's going to be this much more important during this portal and this much more powerful to imagine it right now, to be it right now, to be in it right now, and really cultivate that attitude of gratitude, like we said. Another interesting thing that came through when I was sort of writing out my feelings and the energies, how I was feeling them for this portal, was this energy of having gratitude for the sacrifices that our ancestors made for us, and really having gratitude for the little freedoms and the little blessings in our lives that we tend to take for granted and overlook because it's just always been that way, because it was not always that way. We did not always have the abilities to express ourselves that we have today. Those of us who identify as light workers, as healers, as starseeds, we did not have the ability to be so open about that. We didn't have the ability to share our gifts safely the way we do today. And our ancestors really made sacrifices that allowed that to happen. You know, another example that I can think of right now is like women's rights. Women, and in many parts of the world, women are still fighting very dearly for very basic rights. But in certain countries, like the country that I live in, women have a lot more rights today than they used to. Yes, we are going through a period where some of that energy is rolling back, right? And we understand and we can respect how scary that can be when we really look at where we came from. And so it's honoring where we came from, honoring our ancestors and all that they sacrificed in order to allow us to be where we are today. And also to understand what is worth sacrificing for in our own lives as we move forward. What is it that we are willing to sacrifice in order for what it is that we are wanting to gain? And this has been an energy that we've been talking about that's been coming up for quite some time. I think that's all I want to say. I do also want to say, I guess, before we get into the cards, the 9-9 energy, or the 9 energy, is also associated with the Ascended Masters and with mastery in general. So there is an energy of mastery, of mastering. I'm feeling the Hierophant card from the tarot, for those of you who are familiar with the tarot. A mastering of certain life cycles, life lessons, so that we can move on to the next chapter of growth. So we're really connecting in with our own identity as Ascended Masters in other dimensions, calling in that multidimensional frequency, all of that multidimensional wisdom. And this is a great time to communicate with the Ascended Masters as well. They are open, they are ready, they are wanting to hear from you and to work with you on and around this portal, but they're wanting you to remember above all else that you are the Ascended Master. You are the star being. You are the higher being whose wisdom you seek, and it can all be found within. This is a powerful time to connect with the Akashic Records. I'm feeling that energy to work with your Akashic Records. We're actually going to pull from the Akashic Tarot for the reading today, but before we do, I want to get started with the Keepers of the Light deck. We're talking about the Ascended Masters and these other ascended beings, and I'm feeling like they have some messages for us to kick this off. So we're going to jump right in and see what masters for this, or messages for this 9-9 portal, the Ascended Masters and the other Keepers of the Light have for us. And most people would consider the Ascended Masters to be those souls who incarnated through many, many, many lifetimes on Earth, mastered this three-dimensional experience, and then were able to ascend beyond it. right into a next level of consciousness, which is what we're all here doing right now. And many of us have done it before and are here to assist others in doing so as well. Really, we've all done it, because if everything exists in an infinite now, we are ascended masters. Like we said, this is why they're wanting us to tap into that part of us that knows and remembers that we are the ascended masters. I think the most famous ascended master is Master Jesus. Sananda. Who's coming out right now? He came here, he graduated, if you will, and then he came back to share messages of forgiveness, messages of compassion. He, so much. He was such a powerful teacher. And yes, who else do we have? Kuan Yin, who represents compassion. So we have forgiveness and compassion. And this is how we close out some of those major cycles that we were talking about, is through forgiveness and compassion. And always remember, this forgiveness must be extended to ourselves as well. We hold ourselves to a higher standard than we hold most people oftentimes. And so it's often the self that needs the most forgiveness. But it's equally important to forgive. When we forgive somebody, we release the attachment. We cut the cords, the energetic connection, the drag that they have on our energy is gone. The resentment and all of those lower vibratory emotions that actually make us ill, ultimately, that connection is severed. All right, so it's more about what we're doing for us. It's not really about doing for the other person. It's not about condoning their behavior. It's about setting ourselves free. And this portal, this energy really wants us to set ourselves free. And Master Jesus wants to help you. So if you are struggling to forgive somebody, whether it be yourself or another, Master Jesus and Kuan Yin both want to come in and assist with you. You may resonate more with one than the other, or you may resonate with both, and they'll work together as a really great team during this portal. But what I'm being reminded of right now is the fable or the story of Jesus, as if you will. This very same people that he came here to enlighten hung him from a cross. But he wasn't angry. He forgave each and every single one of them. I mean, I would imagine that's our human interpretation of it. In reality, there was nothing to forgive in the first place, because they didn't know what they didn't know. They acted out of fear. They acted exactly the way that he knew they would act. I'm being reminded right now, there's an aspect to this of Jesus's story, right, where we talk about him being betrayed by Judas, and how even then he knew that he was going to betray him. It was all part of the plan. And he wasn't angry about that either. And so there really was no need to forgive. There was nothing to actually forgive. And he understood that. In this story, the forgiveness was actually for the other person, because he was enlightened enough that he knew there was nothing to forgive. It was forgiven before it even happened. Right? But the other person was the one that required his forgiveness so that he could then forgive himself. And I think the reason I'm saying this is there may be somebody in your life who is struggling to forgive themselves, and your forgiveness will be the key that allows them to do that. When we are able to do something like that, that's when we know that we are truly reaching this energy of being awakened, of enlightenment, if you will. Jesus held endless compassion within him, as does Kuan Yin. I feel like some people during this portal too, it's almost like it's like forgiving your soul for the fact that it decided to incarnate here. Like, so, some people may be pretty frustrated with that by this point, because it's just like, if we look at what we're being shown, right? There's just so much, as we're watching the system destroying itself. It's not being destroyed, it's destroying itself, right? This is Capricorn in the final degrees. This is closing out the age of Pisces, moving into the age of Aquarius. This is the ascension, right? The deconstruction before the construction, the reconstruction begins. We're watching all of this madness, and we're you know, doing our best to not participate in it, but to rise above it. And it's and hold space for it, right? Hold space for the rest of humanity and ourselves and each other when necessary, right? But it's starting to wear on some people, and we're just like, why did I come here? Why did I decide to do this? And it's like we're getting to that point where we start getting frustrated with the outer world, and then we're like, oh, that's right, I chose this, I did this to myself. And we're getting frustrated with our own souls, like, why did you think this was going to be a good idea? Ultimately, it's the best idea you ever had. Trust me, I'm telling myself this just as much as you. It's the best idea you ever had, because this is the time to be on this planet, right? This is a powerful, powerful time to be alive, to experience, to witness firsthand by occupying a body on this earth right now. It's wild stuff, and your soul wouldn't be anywhere else. But yeah, for some people, it's like forgiving ourselves for, like, you know, because we always say, I hear people say so many times, I'm never coming back again. This is my last lifetime. I'm not doing this shit again. You know, but it's like, you know how many times we probably said that before we came back here? It's okay. You trust your soul. It knew what it was doing. You knew what you were doing. You still know. You just have to connect in with the part of you that knows. And Master Jesus and Kuan Yin can help with that. But it's like forgiving everyone, including yourself, and really being able to connect in with that energy if possible. I know it's a big ask, but this energy of there is nothing to forgive. The story was written long before the page was turned. So we're being asked in every single moment to really practice this energy of acting out of compassion, tolerance, and forgiveness. Of doing the right thing, even if we're the only one. And I suppose that's a perception, that's a judgment, right? But even if we feel as though we're the only one, right? It's kind of that energy of rising above an eye for an eye. Rising above, I treat you the way you treat me. And treat everybody better. It's that, what is that? And that comes from the Bible too, right? That the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. A lot of biblical energy coming through in this reading today. But understand, the Bible is a story. It's a spiritual text. It's a guidebook. And like most spiritual texts, like most guidebooks, we have to learn how to read between the lines. That's where the truth resides. With anything right now, it's so important for us to understand how to take the good, how to see the good in everything. Many people watching this channel relate to the same energy that I do, which is where we've been victimized by religion in the past. Right? So many people have, there may be people watching this who are cringing because we're talking so much about the Bible and Jesus. Because that energy instantly makes them uncomfortable because of the associations with the Christian religion. But we have to be able to look like this. This is a perfect example of being able to disconnect ourselves from that energy of judgment, that energy of the wounding that it may bring up in us. Not just from past lifetimes, but maybe from this lifetime. People who misinterpreted the message. Because really, the parts of the Bible that were released, there's a lot of the Bible that the average layperson has never read because it was hidden, right? It was careful. The parts of it that were shared with the public were very carefully chosen and probably altered in order to create a narrative that reinforced a certain belief system. But when you can remove that energy and you can look to those little nuggets like the one I just shared, right? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's the energy we want to cultivate. That's the wisdom. I don't know why I feel like tempted to share all of this right now, but I as well was very uncomfortable with the Christian religion, particularly. And I went to church when I was small. And then when I was old enough to really voice my opinion, I asked to not go anymore because I didn't resonate with what was with the Bible. And I was very logical as a child too, with my Virgo moon and everything. And I just didn't understand. I took the stories at face value. I didn't feel any of the energy behind it. I was just like, this is silly, and it doesn't resonate with me. And then as I got older, there were more ways, things that I associated with that energy that weren't pleasant. So I didn't go for a long time, and I had kind of an aversion to the energy of it. But when I was getting this was one of the times when I was getting clean from drugs, and I was staying with this woman who went to church. And so I went to church with her one day. And I trained myself I decided I'm going to go into this completely open. And I'm going to see if I hear anything that resonates. And the universe sent me synchronicities and messages even during the sermon. And I was able to pick them out. I was able to hear them because I was coming in with an open mind. I wasn't dragging all my baggage from not connecting with that in the past, from watching and listening to extremists and the ways that they utilized the Bible to reinforce their prejudices, letting go of all that energy, all that frustration about all of that, all the past life energies, right? And just being open. And I heard a beautiful message, and I saw this woman, and she was beautiful. She is beautiful. She's a loving, kind, compassionate person, right? And it really helped me to realize that it's all what you make of it. It's all what you make of it. If you hold darkness within you, you can find darkness in anything. If you hold a certain belief system, you can find evidence to support that belief system anywhere. And the same is true of when you carry lightness within you, when you carry joy and compassion. So live that way. Approach life with that open mind. Approach every situation with compassion. Release the baggage of the old belief systems, your own prejudices, right? For a long time, I had a prejudice against people who went to a Christian church. I was angry with them for being prejudiced, but I was being just as prejudiced against them, but I couldn't see that. Yeah, this energy with this Mercury retrograde is really going to flip things on their head like that. It's going to show us the other side of things. It's going to show us where we might have believed we were operating with an open mind, but we were actually operating with a closed mind. Yeah. Clear. I feel like for some people, if Master Jesus is a guide for you in this lifetime, he may reach out and make a connection with you during this portal. Let's get any more messages here. Some people may have clicked off at some point when I was going through all of that, simply because the energy of that was triggering for them. But I'm being told that that's okay, because that was what they needed to get from this reading, was simply that awareness. Remember, our triggers are our greatest teachers. Any other messages from the Ascended Masters and Keepers of the Light before we move on? We have Bridget, Inner Strength, coming out with Radha, Soul Flame. And this is about relationship harmony and healing, as well as discovering lost parts of ourselves. And I'm definitely feeling that energy. There's an aspect of our power and our soul energy that we are recovering during this portal. And it comes from this ability to love ourselves and to release this resentment, to release the anger. This act of forgiveness really opens us back to claiming a new aspect, another aspect of our soul's light. It's like a soul fragment that was held hostage by the resentment or by the energetic cord, because of the energetic cord that was still attached to this person due to our resentment. Because that's the thing, when we resent somebody, when we hold anger about something, righteous or not, we are keeping that energetic connection with them alive. There's a coming back to wholeness here. Taking back our power through the act of forgiveness. And that's allowing powerful healing in our relationships as well. This is very much the energy of self-union, right? Coming into union with the self. Taking back the power that we gave another. Also, I'm feeling by placing enhanced importance upon another. For some people, this could be like with the twin flame journey, where you finally realize it's not about the other person, it's about you. Because we understand that to a point, right? Because that's what when people are talking about the twin flame journey, this is, everybody talks about the importance of doing the work on you. But at the same time, it still takes on an energy a lot of times of being about the other person. The reason we do the work is so we can be reunited with the person, right? It's still all about them, even when we try to make it about ourselves. And there's always that energy of waiting. And this is like when somebody realizes they're done waiting. And they take back their power by finally releasing the attachment to that energy, by becoming their own twin flame. And ironically enough, this is exactly what's needed to then shift us into an energy where we're open to receive a counterpart, which may not be the one that we thought. That's the interesting thing. If you guys resonate with the twin flame energy and you want to learn more about it, go to the informational videos playlist. There's a video that I did on twin flames with Eric from Divine Conversations. It's a really great conversation that we had about that energy. I know I did one with Pete from the Chosen 144 as well. I think that's on his channel. I don't do too much on twin flames because I want people to really focus on their own journey. A lot of times we have these toxic attachments that we mistake as twin flame energy, or our twin flame experience is just toxic, right? Whatever that energy means to us. And we get really distracted from the point, which is loving ourselves. You know, I share in that video that the most powerful moment in my twin flame experience was when I realized that it was really about choosing me. When you have another, right? There really is no such thing as another, right? Because we're all one, but you know what I mean. When you have an outer manifestation of this energy, when you have a person that you love so, so deeply, and you choose yourself over them, that's the most powerful. That is a very powerful act of self-love. That was a defining moment for me in that journey, that experience. And I do have a beautiful love in my life today. But that's because I learned to love me first. But there's just this beautiful healing. I feel like somebody in this process of taking back their power, it really lights their own flame. It allows their own flame to glow so much more brightly that it then attracts in a powerful and beautiful relationship that does assist in healing them. This feels to me like, for many, not all, but for many, it's like a new relationship that really brings about some powerful catharsis and healing. But the crux of the healing happened within you. Probably when you were alone. Maybe not, but it feels likely. Then we have Odin, psychic insight. Your third eye is open. See truth for what it is. Follow your intuition. So a powerful reminder of the power of our minds during this portal. Our third eye being very activated, Odin is telling us. And our third eye is activating. I don't necessarily want to say because we need to receive a message, but there is something that we need to see or understand that can only be understood in these more subtle levels of perception. There's a truth that you need to be shown. This portal is assisting in the opening of that third eye. The clearing. I feel like it's like a clearing out of the third eye for some people, especially with the Mercury retrograde, right? Happening during this portal. It's like clearing that out, polishing that lens of perception so that we can see. So it's like some truth has been staring us in the face, but we haven't been willing or able to really recognize it because we've been blocking out our intuition where this is concerned. Our mind has been so loud that we haven't been able to hear our hearts. And then we have divine healing. Honor your sensitivity. Retreat to recharge. Your light can support others, but only when you are supported first. And that's beautiful heart chakra energy right there. All right, let's pull a couple of Akashic Tarot here. And then we may do an activation card as well. Clear. Let's get a couple cards for this 9-9 portal. Nine portal energies. What do we need to know? Diversity. This energy has been coming up every time we pull from the Akashic Tarot. This energy of diversifying. This energy of not being stuck in our ways. We're being asked to try new things. If we've been stuck in this one way of doing things, this one way of seeing things, we're being asked to branch out from that. We're being asked to really take advantage of the Mars and Gemini energy, I feel like, which allows us to put our focus our energy in multiple directions, to gather information, to gather experiences. It feels like we're being guided to gather experience right now, because even if it seems like things are not connected, they're all going to connect together. And it all is for a purpose. It's all coming together, even if we don't understand why. And we need all the different experiences. We need all of the different, for some people it's skill sets, like learning a new skill set. It's bringing in fresh energy. That's what the energy of diversity is bringing back in. And this is also a reminder to have respect for and appreciation for the diversity of life experience, of human experience, of perspective and opinion. To honor the differences that exist, as well as the similarities. The similarities help us to relate and find common ground. The differences allow us to see things from different perspectives and opinions. Remember, creator, source, whatever you want to call it, loves diversity, because the creator gets to experience itself through every single manifestation of its energy. I'm a manifestation of source energy. You're a manifestation of source energy. The guy at the checkout line that was driving you crazy yesterday is a manifestation of source energy. The person that triggers you most in the world is a manifestation of source energy, okay? And spirit gets to experience itself through all of these different expressions. All right, diversity is key. Diversity is what makes this such an interesting multiverse, because the possibilities are truly endless. So open yourself up to possibility. This is not the time for doing things the way you've always done it. If you do things the way you've always done it, you're going to get the same result. We have two worlds, two of scrolls on the bottom of the deck. And I feel this as bridging the two worlds. It's like two things that you think are opposite and cannot come together in harmony actually can. It's just about being open to that possibility. And then we have Six of Forces, the waterfall. This is blessings. This is cleansing. This is all of the energy that we talked about. This is a rush of abundance that comes from our ability and our willingness to diversify, to try new things, to find a way to merge the two worlds. This two worlds also, I feel, for some people, speaks of being the comfort zone versus the thrill of the unknown. You see everything nice and comfortable inside, but then there's this beautiful, lush wilderness that's calling on the outside. And also, what I'm hearing or feeling right now too is like you can be comfortable and uncomfortable at the same time. Take that for what it might mean to you. You can become comfortable with your discomfort. I guess that's what that would mean to me. Get comfortable being uncomfortable, that kind of a thing. But this is also the energy of feeling caught between two worlds. Feeling like there's aspects of your life that you need to compartmentalize. And realizing that you don't. You can actually bring all of that together. You can blend it all together. There is synergy. I mean, remember, we talk about all the time. We talk about the opposing signs in the zodiac, right? The polarities of the zodiac and how they actually complement each other, right? Even see, look on this. We have the dark and light. We have the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon are complements to each other. One rules the night, one rules the day. Masculine and feminine, yin and yang. I'm being reminded of a quote that I read today. That a reader that I used to watch on YouTube when I first started watching YouTube and learning tarot, Miss Ioka, she used to quote this all the time. She still does. I think I read it on her Instagram earlier. And it's that quote that talks about the sun loved the moon so much that every night he would die so that she could breathe. So that she could shine. I just felt like sharing that quote for some reason with you guys. But this is mastering, once again, this is the inner union that we were talking about. Mastering our feminine and our masculine energy. Combining those forces, what seeming opposites, which actually work in unity and synergy. Finding that synergy with ourselves, with our environment, with the other people in it. And that's when we become truly unstoppable. The Queen of Forces, I believe, is the Queen of Wands. She feels very majestic. She feels like the magician, right? Like the Empress and the magician here. And notice how she's standing in the water. Her emotion, that is her point of focus. That is the energy that charges her power and her creations. Allow your emotions to be the generator that creates your desires. All right, yeah, I want to close with a Sacred Sea Oracle, actually, for this 9-9 portal energy. Clear. And I'm not focusing too much on the relationships aspect for this reading. But I am planning to do a pick-a-pile reading for relationships for this 9-9 portal and also the Mercury retrograde energies, the new moons. There's so much relationship energy, so much clearing and releasing of old patterns in relationships, relationship healing, reconciliation or just closures around relationships. It's such a huge focus, and we're going through such powerful transformation in that area of our lives that I wanted to do a whole separate video just kind of focusing in on that and giving just a few different reads for that energy. So just know that that is a big energy of this portal as well. We're just not getting super into it here. 9-9 portal. 9-9 portal energies. We have Algae Medicine Mother, consume consciously. And we have the Priestess of Purity, crystalline purity. And that's the energy that we talked about, right? The portal of purification. I was trying to read the cards while I was holding up through the screen. It didn't work. So consume consciously. This brings us back to our minds, right? The energy of our minds and how powerful they are during this portal. What are we consuming? Consumption doesn't just mean, what am I eating? That's a part of it. We want to be conscious of that during this portal and always. But also, what am I consuming when it comes to energy? Through what I read, through what I watch, through what I listen to, through who I interact with, where I go. The information that I'm processing. The input that I'm processing. We want to be aware of all of that. All of that is consumption. Ideas. What ideas are we consuming? And how are we digesting the things that we're consuming? That gives us an idea of whether that is beneficial for us or not. We can use an example of this as being when we're digesting food, right? We've consumed that food. Our digestion process can give us a hint as to how it is that that food is sitting with us. But that's true for anything. When you get done, when you leave work, How does your energy feel? Do you feel drained? Do you feel depleted? Do you feel stressed out? The same when you interact with a certain person, when you go to a certain place. Pay attention to that. That's the digestion process. Be conscious with everything that you consume. Be aware, not just after the fact, but in the moment. Train yourself to become aware in the moment with how you are processing that energy. And we can cease to consume something simply by ceasing to give it our attention. Who and what are you giving your attention to? This whole world is built in ways that try to steal your attention because it is the most valuable resource. Your attention and your intention. But if you're not conscious, you don't have a conscious intention. And that's your most powerful tool. So you have to train yourself to be conscious, to be aware. And to continue to detox yourself when necessary. And then the Priestess of Purity, Crystalline Purity. We're going to read this one from the book. But part of this purification process is by looking at what we're consuming. So during this 9/9 portal, as we are being purified, we can enhance the energies of this portal by paying attention to what we're consuming. And making sure that we're consuming as light and we're consuming things that agree with us as much as possible. This helps to purify our vessel, to purify our mind and our spirit as well. All right. Priestess of Purity says, there's an affirmation here, and the affirmation is, I honor my innate purity. I remember who I am and who I came to earth to be, my truest, most honest self. I am devoted to expressing and honoring my pure soul essence and hold this integrity in all I am, do, and share. Priestess of Purity, I am a warrior holding the highest vibration of integrity. I am here to anchor in the divine grid of deep purity, equality, and honesty to a level unknown to all humans. Be aware of what you think you know to be the truth, as this is just perception and projection. As your consciousness and soul evolve and expand within your physical form, you will know new expressions of reality unannounced to all who have gone before you. Await, dear one, as the grid is recalibrating to a new crystalline form that will enhance the life quality and experience of the whole. Be with me in sovereign solidarity as we anchor this high-level frequency into the new earth. And there is a ritual that goes along with this, and it says, to hold a photo of you in your purest moments. You can do this in your mind and heart if you do not have a physical image to focus on. Call upon your guides, your highest self, and the Priestess of Purity to accompany you in this sacred ritual. Set your sacred space and settle your energy. See and feel into the memory of who you were at this moment in your evolutionary soul journey. Notice the openness you held and any other significant feelings or memories you can summon. Breathe deeply as you visualize coming into alignment with that same energy you once held. You may find that emotions arise as there is so much tenderness in this remembrance. Allow all you feel to come to the surface and be expressed. Stay here for a moment and honor your soul for being brave enough to come into this form, this world, with such vulnerability. Look how far you have come and honor yourself for this incredible accomplishment of survival and growth. Take the hand of your purest soul self and send infinite love back into your own heart, as this is how the healing takes place. Through honoring your own choices and continuing to align with this pure, honest, vulnerable source within. You are so loved. Give yourself a hug and keep nurturing your purity. There is infinite expansion embedded in this alignment. Trust your soul. And this, when we talked about regaining a piece of your soul's energy, this is another route that might take, I guess you could say, by realigning with this pure energy of you. this expression of you, this purest expression of you. And if you can't remember yourself in this form, if you feel as though, I feel like there are some people who may feel like you never felt that innocent and pure. You were, you did. You just may not remember. Sit in meditation. Open up this ritual, sit in meditation, and call in that image of you. And just see what comes to mind. And for some, it may be the processing of the grief that you didn't really get to experience much of that innocence and purity. The resentment and the anger, and then it's the forgiveness of your soul for choosing that. For choosing this hard knock approach to incarnation, right? To these soul essence. The people who played parts in that, the other souls that agreed to come and be part of that experience for you. Of losing your innocence so early, your purity. Forgive everybody, including yourself. And God, if it's necessary. Feel into all of that and allow that to release. And that's going to allow a powerful aspect of your soul energy to return to you. I really like that. That's beautiful. And I think that was perfect. That really sums everything up. I love you guys so much. I hope you have an incredible 9/9 portal. As I said, there is going to be as God willing, a pick a pile coming out as well for more specific around the relationship energies of this portal. And I'm sure we'll be talking about it consistently on here leading up. If you are new and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe bell with the little squigglies so you get notified when more videos come out, because it's a constant conversation on here where we're in the flow of these energies and we're continuing to discuss them as they continue to develop. So it's really an ongoing conversation. And like we said, all these energies are so interconnected. Stay posted for that Mercury retrograde video. Check out the Virgo season video. Any other, I'm not sure what other videos are coming out, but all of these energies, the Virgo new moon video, very relevant, especially when we're talking about this self-care, this self-talk, and this self-love piece. Many people may want to check that out. It's like I said, an ongoing process. So subscribe so you don't miss out on anything. And welcome if this is your first time finding my channel. Let's see. I don't know. There's more stuff. There's always more stuff. There are links down below. Yada, yada, yada. All the stuff. You guys are beautiful. I will talk to you soon.